Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, Jay-Z Courtside, coming at you today on Friday, April 24th. Me, oh my. What a night of NBA basketball last night. We had the New York Knicks against the Atlanta Hawks, the Timberwolves versus the Nuggets, and the Raptors against the Cavs. And what if I told you all the lower seeds won last night? That's right. The 6th seed won in the East, the 6th seed won in the West, and the 5th seed won in the East. Incredible night of NBA basketball for 3 fan bases, and maybe some more if people are hate watching, which they probably are. I hope you guys did enjoy the basketball games last night, because I know I did, because I got to watch it with the majority of my community live in my Discord channel. That's right. In my Discord server, we all hosted a watch party. I shared my screen and everybody else hung out with me, hung out with the chat, laughed together, cried together, joked together, and watched the game together, and it was a blast. So if you guys want to join in on the next watch party, be sure to join our Discord server. The link will be down below in the show notes on wherever you're watching, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. Be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review, drop some likes, drop some follows, do all that jazz, because our first season is, this is a great first season to cover the NBA, y'all. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, be sure to do all that. And then, as you guys know, we do all of these podcasts live, so mistakes do happen, stutters do happen, needing to take a sip of water does happen. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, remember, if you want to get involved in the action, we do stream on Twitch at 9 a.m. Eastern. The name is Jay-Z Uncut. So be sure to swing on in Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching in the TikTok, be sure to drop some likes, follows, all that jazz. YouTube, be sure to drop a like, subscribe. And Twitch chat, y'all already know you guys got the easiest job in the whole entire world. All right? Sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee and energy drink, and enjoy the show. Guys, we got to start. I didn't even do a poll this morning. Usually, before I start the podcast, I talk with my Twitch chat for about 30 minutes before we get involved and do the show. And I usually ask them, guys, what game do you want to talk about first? And they let me know. I didn't need to ask that. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the Atlanta Hawks go ahead and take the series lead 2-1 in their first game in Atlanta, defend their home court, and win the game 109-108. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Is it really unbelievable, though? I don't think it is. We were watching this game live, like I said, in my Discord server. We hosted a watch party. We had maybe 45 people in that. No, we did have 45 people in that watch party, and we had a blast. Knicks fans didn't, though. Where do I even start with this game? Where do I start? Well, the Hawks were up by 18 at one point, and I think all of us were sitting in that watch party, and I was saying, I have seen this show play out 100,000 times. The Knicks come back against an inexperienced team. The Knicks start locking in on defense. They start scoring. They take the lead, which they did. And then Brunson takes them home and they win the game. Well, it didn't work out that way last night, because last night, in the final seconds of the game, Jalen Brunson, you would think I'm insane by saying this, but in my opinion, in my humble opinion, Jalen Brunson costed them this game. He costed them this game. Absolutely costed them. As your team's leader, as your team superstar, 26 points in 40 minutes, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists as the leader of this team is inexcusable. And guess what? That's not even the worst part. I went ahead and found you guys a little surprise. And TikTok is saying L take, and that shows me that you guys do not watch the game. Jalen Brunson last night, this might sound fake. Jalen Brunson last night, you're probably wondering, Jay-Z, what are you talking about? You don't know ball. As you know, all the comments I always see. I went ahead and watched the game back, the entire game back, and I counted how many points Jalen Brunson allowed last night, including free throws, if they got free throws out of his fouls. Do you guys want to guess how many points Jalen Brunson gave up last night? Do you have any guess? So when you come in here and you come into my show and you tell me it's an L take, I need you to understand I do my research before starting these shows. This was single-handedly the worst defensive game I've seen from one individual player this season. And I watched Duncan Robinson give up 72 points against the Boston Celtics earlier in the year. I watched Duncan Robinson give up 72 points against Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard. That's not a joke. Last night, Jalen Brunson gave up 73 points. I need you to understand, this is a superstar. This is a player that teams rely on. Jalen Brunson gave up 73 points. Whether it was a failed switch off of a screen or it was him just straight up defending his man. So if anybody wants to come in here and tell me that's an L take and you're just a Knicks hater, Jalen Brunson gave up 73 points last night. You can go back and watch it if you'd like. Your star player, your player that you think is going to win you a championship and lead you to a championship, gave up 73 points. No matter how many times I say it, it won't sound any better. So, Mikal Bridges, minus 26, 0 for 3. You were bad, but we don't expect you to be great. We just expect you to get a solid 10 points. Josh Hart, you were bad, 1 for 9, but we don't expect you to score 20 points. He did his thing defensively at least. Jalen Brunson, single-handedly, this +1 is absolute bullshit, by the way. This is why I don't fully listen to plus minus when I'm watching the game. Because yes, he was a +1 on the court, but he gave up 73 points. I need you to truly understand what I'm saying here. The Orlando Magic scored 83 points against the Pistons in game 2. 83 points as a team. Jalen Brunson allowed 73 points as a single player. So Dawson in the TikTok stream saying, yeah, bro, your takes are terrible. Jalen Brunson is terrible at defense. He gave up 73 points in a game. So if my takes are terrible, then go watch Stephen A. Smith or Mad Dog or Kendrick Perkins or anybody else. Go watch them. You want to just be fed bullshit and put the blame on a role player. Mikal Bridges has done this all year. Why are we surprised? Mikal Bridges got this unnecessarily large extension. Mikal Bridges is not the number one option. He's not playing to his capabilities. We all know that. Josh Hart's not playing up to his capabilities offensively. We all know that. But as the leader of your basketball team, how can you come into my stream and say, we know his defense is trash, he's not known for his defense? How can you come into my live show and excuse a player for giving up 73 points last night? You wonder how you lost? It's not because of Mikal Bridges. It's not because of Josh Hart. It's not because of Jordan Clarkson, Mitchell Robinson, Jose Alvarado, Landry Shamet, or Deuce McBride. It's because one player on your team is not just a liability, but he's the actual reason your team cannot compete against the 6th seed. And TikTok is saying, shut up, bro. You would give up 200. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I would give up 200 because I'm not an NBA player. But the fact that he's allowing CJ McCollum, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jonathan Kuminga, and anybody else to walk him down the court and allow 73 points put on his head is inexcusable. You cannot excuse one player giving up 73 points and tell me that Mikal Bridges is the reason why they lost. The small guard regression has happened in the middle of this season. Now, it's not just one reason this team lost. It's a culmination of things. Mike Brown was bad at coaching last night. His rotations, his substitutions, his lineups, his advice on the sideline, that was bad. But to come into my stream and say Josh Hart is the reason they lost shows me you did not watch the game and you have your sunglasses on. You have your sunglasses on. Your one player, No Limit K in the TikTok, gave up 73 points. I will not be told that it was Mikal's fault or Josh's fault. If you're going to pin any of the blame, it's on the head of the dragon. And the head of the dragon on this team is Jalen Brunson. I will not sit here idly and allow you guys to blame role players for performing like role players. Blame your superstar for being a half man. He's not standing in front of anybody. You're right, he would drop 200 on my head. But when your one player gives up 3/4 of the points scored on them, It's your one player's fault. And on top of that, I would like to add, as a point guard, 4 assists. In game 1, Cade Cunningham had 4 assists, and the media crucified him. The media said, how do you get 4 assists? Well, Cade Cunningham had his teammates made the shots that he was passing to. He had a potential 24 assists in game 1. He had a potential 24 assists, but 20 of the 24 assists were misses. Last night, Jalen Brunson had a potential of 6 assists. 6! Excuse my screaming. He had 4 assists, and he had a potential of 6 assists. 6. So to come in here once again and tell me Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson, you are defending the literal reason why you lost this game. He had a potential 6 assists from your starting point guard. From your starting point guard, a potential 6 assists when Karl-Anthony Towns is cooking and he's sulking and he's pissed off that he's not touching the ball. He's jumping up. He's screaming, give me the ball, give me the ball. And Jalen Brunson's waving off and taking some highly contested 3 and going 0 for 5 from deep. Ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks had this game. You just had arguably one of the worst games your entire team played. OG Anunoby got you 2 huge buckets late. Magnet ball. Unbelievable threes that OG Anunoby hit. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they still managed to lose this game. It's Mike Brown's fault. It's Josh Hart's fault. It's Mikal Bridges' fault. But at the end of the day, you have to blame the head of the snake. And I'm blaming Jalen Brunson for giving up 73 points and only getting 4 assists as a point guard. You have a guy, Karl-Anthony Towns, who is quite literally, the greatest stretch that we've ever seen in today's game. He's the best 3-point shooter. He's the best. He's the best player on the floor between both teams. Karl-Anthony Towns is the best player on the floor between both. It's not Brunson. It's not CJ. It's not Nah. It's not Jalen Johnson. It's not OG. Karl-Anthony Towns is the best player on the floor right now, and they're not giving him the ball. They're not giving him the ball. There's a reason that I was begging the Hawks to trade Trae Young, because when your head of your snake is that much of a liability defensively, how do you expect to win anything? I'm not over-exaggerating here. I'm not over-exaggerating whatsoever. And anybody that does not want to blame Jalen Brunson, you are blinded. You are blinded. My Knicks fans in my Twitch stream here are agreeing with me, and that's what makes me happy. The guys in the TikTok, well, you guys are on your own because y'all genuinely don't really understand basketball. Bam, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. I really, really appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming through to the Twitch stream. Much love, Bam. I'm going to end the TikTok. So if you guys want the rest of this show, because we're just getting started, we still have 2 more games to cover, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio, guys. I'm ending the TikTok. So come through to the Twitch. Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. Link in my bio. Okay, yeah, there's a lot more points I have to make. So ultimately, you guys understand what I'm saying, right? You guys understand everything I'm saying, right? By the way, I'm only ending the TikTok because it wasn't in the algorithm. So there were only just a few people yelling at me. So I just figured I'll just reset it in a second. Okay. I said what I had to say about the Knicks. Can we talk about the Hawks real quick though? Can we talk about the Atlanta Hawks? Because what I saw last night, I mean, wow. And it's happening, y'all. It is happening. What we are witnessing from the Atlanta Hawks right now is not short of amazing. Because the thing is with the Hawks right now, Jalen Johnson has not been good. He's only going to get better as these playoffs go. It's his first playoff experience, so I'm giving him his grace. But you guys are seeing the same thing I'm seeing, right? He started the series slow, and then each quarter, he's gaining more confidence. Each quarter, he's getting even better. Each quarter, he's getting stronger, more confident, and everything all around. Davey, I see that comment you were saying in the TikTok stream. I don't know why you follow us here, but you watch and talk in the TikTok stream. All you got to do is watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, and I'll gift you a $5 subscription. It is not mathematically impossible for one player to give up 73 points individually. It's not. If you watch basketball, you could see that it is. I've seen it happen multiple times this season. Duncan Robinson gave up 72 earlier in this season. Jalen Brunson gave up 73. Those are the 2 most points given up in the entire season, but Jalen Brunson's won't count because it wasn't in the regular season, so they won't track that stat. It is absolutely possible. It is absolutely possible. It's not impossible. It is absolutely possible that you have someone that gets continuously attacked every single time down the court. You guys can watch that game back. You guys can watch that game. In the second half, they were only attacking Jalen Brunson. So the way they track that metric, by the way, is if the screen is switched and they score off of that failed switch, it's Brunson's fault. If Brunson gets scored on, it's his fault. That is the issue at hand right now. This happens a lot, Davey. This is not a rare statistic. This happens a lot. The stats are tracked all by these advanced metrics. The numbers don't lie. So, by those standards, we got to talk about the Hawks. Davey, I understand that you're upset if you're a Knicks fan. I would be too if my team played like that. So I understand it. We got to move on and talk about Jalen Johnson. I love that comment from Ram. He said, Ram said, is Jalen Johnson a Saiyan? He gets stronger by the minute. Yeah, he really is. Because right now, throughout this series, you're watching Jalen Johnson level up and get better and better and better and better. 24 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. No Atlanta Hawk player has ever recorded those numbers ever in a playoff game, ever. See, Davey, this is the issue. You said, I'm upset, but I love Jalen. I would die for Jalen Brunson. And that's the biggest issue at hand, bro. That's the biggest issue at hand. You have your sunglasses on, so you're immune to seeing your favorite player's faults. My favorite player is Cade Cunningham. I can appreciate Cade when I acknowledge his faults. The moment you can appreciate Jalen Brunson and acknowledge his faults, you will become a much better fan. Okay, Cade has plenty of faults. To say Cade has no faults is insane. Cade has plenty of faults. He's lackadaisical with the ball. His finishing still isn't where he needs to be because he doesn't get the foul calls. And his three-point shooting is not consistent enough. Every player has their faults. There's no perfect player in this existence. Jalen Brunson has a lot of faults. And what you guys need to understand is when you acknowledge those faults, it becomes much easier to enjoy basketball from that player. And I'm not dying for a player. If Cade Cunningham and me were on a fucking bridge and one of us had to go, I'm sorry, Cade. I love you, but I'm out. I'm out. If he wants an ankle, sure, I'll give him an ankle. I don't need it. But yeah, I'm not fucking dying for an NBA player that doesn't know who I am, bro. That ain't happening. Let's continue talking about the Hawks, y'all. Jalen Johnson is getting better by the minute. He's getting better by the minute. And what I got to say about Onyeka Okongwu, he can't guard Cat. We all know that. Nobody can guard Cat. Not in this series. And what I'm watching right now, Onyeka Okongwu scored when they needed buckets most. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? He got the ball moving in the first quarter. And then in the third quarter, when the Knicks started to mount that initial comeback, Onyeka Okongwu gets this crazy three, gets this crazy putback dunk. He got timely baskets when it mattered most. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was horrible. He started the game 0 for 6. He then went on to score 4 for 6 in his next 6 shots. So he's forgiven. He started getting going as the game went on. Dyson Daniels had 5 turnovers, not good, but he did have 13 rebounds and 6 assists. If you're allowing Dyson Daniels to give more assists than your starting point guard for the Knicks, that's embarrassing. CJ McCollum, man, what we got to talk about, he's a potential stud of the night candidate, obviously. CJ McCollum and what he did in the first half last night was... it was things of legend. It's things that we think of, like when I was a kid watching basketball, I swear to God, Rodney Stuckey was a GOAT. I swear on everything. Rodney Stuckey never missed a single shot in his entire career. He would do his classic step through, tween, step back, mid-range jump shot, and it was wet every time. In reality, he didn't make any of those shots. He hit maybe 1 or 2, and he hit 1 on Kobe. CJ McCollum, though, in that first half, he was not missing. And then all of a sudden, in the third quarter and the first 8 minutes of the fourth quarter, CJ couldn't make shit. CJ couldn't make anything. And that's when the Hawks started to sell that lead. So I started getting worried. And that's why I said Knicks are going to pull this game out. Knicks are going to win. I've seen that play out so many times. Knicks are going to win. And then all of a sudden, CJ turns it on. And he plays absolutely incredible. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? He hit the game winner. He hit the game winner. And watching CJ McCollum do things like that is exactly why you trade for him in the first place. That's exactly why you trade him in the first place. Now, I would like to say, Mike Brown, what is this lineup, bro? You put in this defensive heavy lineup, which is absolutely insane. It was Josh Hart, Landry Shamet, Deuce McBride, OG Anunoby, and Mikal Bridges, which is insane. That's your defensive lineup? That's crazy. Play the game with the ball in Jalen Brunson's hands, and it was over. It was over just like that. Now, you can blame Mikal Bridges all you want, bro. You can blame Mikal Bridges all you want. There will be no watch party tonight. I will announce it in the Discord next time there's a watch party. So be sure to join the Discord, !Discord in the Twitch chat. You can blame Mikal Bridges all you want, y'all. You can blame Josh Hart all you want. You can blame Mike Brown all you want. But from what I saw from the Knicks last night, that was lazy. And from their leader in particular, Jalen Brunson deserves the brunt of this blame. The last guy I got to talk about is Jonathan Kuminga. There's a big thing about Jonathan Kuminga, okay? For all of you saying Steve Kerr's an idiot, Steve Kerr was sitting him, Steve Kerr was giving him DMPs, Steve Kerr, he's rolling in his bed right now watching the playoffs. I got to say something. Jonathan Kuminga, okay, Davey, don't come into my Twitch stream and start insulting people because you disagree with their take, okay? If you want to come in here and insult people, stick to the TikTok stream, Brody. You don't belong here if you're going to come in here and get mad at people's opinions and start insulting people, all right? We don't do that around here. You can do that in the TikTok where dumb fucks reside, all right? Jonathan Kuminga, when he was a Golden State Warrior, right? When he was a Warrior, there was a big trending factor, all right? And what I have to talk about with that, Jonathan Kuminga scored 21 points last night. He was 9 for 14. He's a big reason why the Hawks won. Because when CJ couldn't buy a shot, guess who was hitting all their shots? Jonathan Kuminga. So something I have to come out and say, right? Something I have to say is something that a lot of people aren't remembering correctly because people forget things, okay? Immediately with Steve Kerr. And then he wouldn't play for 3 games. And that's how his career panned out with the Warriors. One game he would drop 25 points. The other game he would drop 3 and he'd get pulled out and yanked immediately. Okay? The difference when he got traded to the Hawks is that Quinn Snyder allows Jonathan Kuminga to make a mistake. Hell, he allows Jonathan Kuminga to make 2 mistakes. I've seen him allow Jonathan Kuminga to make 3 mistakes. 3 mistakes? All right, you're benched. Steve Kerr had some personal vendetta against Jonathan Kuminga because taking him out and treating him like a 19-year-old in the NBA, making 1 mistake and just yanking him, how is he supposed to gain any sort of confidence as a basketball player on your team? Quinn Snyder saw Jonathan Kuminga take a couple stupid-ass shots in this game. And guess who he still finished the game with? The Hawks. He still finished the game with Kuminga. And that's the biggest issue at hand. Watching Quinn Snyder forgive Kuminga for his mistakes and allowing him to still continue to thrive and drop 21 points off the bench on super efficient shooting. That is what some players need as a head coach. And he didn't have that with Steve Kerr. You didn't have that over there. And now that you have that with the Atlanta Hawks, you are seeing Jonathan Kuminga play at his best caliber. So it's not Jonathan Kuminga learned how to play basketball. It's not that Jonathan Kuminga is finally allowed on the court. It's that Jonathan Kuminga is finally allowed to be Jonathan Kuminga. He's allowed to make his singular mistake. And I got to say, he did a bang-up job defending Karl Anthony Towns last night. Nobody can stop Cat in this series. He's the best player on the court in both ways. But from what I'm seeing, Jonathan Kuminga is doing so well on offense and defense, and I love to see it. Any team would love to have Kuminga on their team as long as they can appreciate his mistakes just as much as his success. And that's where I think Jonathan Kuminga thrives right now, y'all. That's where I think he thrives. All in all, incredible game last night. We've talked about this game for 26 minutes now. I think that's all I really got to say. I blame Jalen Brunson for this loss, as I hope most logical Knicks fans do as well. You can't allow your star to go out there and be an absolute traffic cone on the court. It's not Mikal Bridges' fault. It's not Josh Hart's fault. It's all of their fault. It's Mike Brown's fault. It's Jalen Brunson's fault. But at the end of the day, you got to look at the head of the dragon right here, y'all. And the head of the dragon is Jalen Brunson. If he's not going to play, if he's not even going to attempt playing defense, if he's not even going to try to compete towards the end of the game, he shot 11 for 23, 3 turnovers, 26 points. If you box score watch, you would think Jalen Brunson had a decent game. He didn't. No, he was arguably the worst player on the floor. He wasn't getting anybody involved, and he was allowing anybody to get involved on the other end. That's the unfortunate truth. That is the unfortunate truth. Do I think the Knicks can still win this series? Yes, I do. I still think the Knicks can win this series. If Jalen Brunson gives up 73 points again, absolutely no chance. If Jalen Brunson gives up 73 points again as a single player and only gets 4 assists, there's absolutely no chance the Knicks can win this series. It's a must-win game for Game 4. Must-win for the Knicks. And honestly, must-win for the Hawks, because if you go back to Madison Square Garden tied 2, it's anybody's series. So it's a must-win game for the Knicks. And if they don't, then yeah, we'll talk about that. But yes, I still believe the Knicks are going to win this series. If the Knicks lose the next one, then no. I mean, they're going to go back, and yeah, they're not going to have anything. It all depends what happens Game 4, y'all. I still believe the Knicks will win this series. It just matters what happens in Game 4. The Knicks allowed something that you should never allow a lower seed in the playoffs. And they allowed the Hawks to gain confidence and the belief that they can beat the Knicks now. And they just beat them twice. So if they can get past that mental hurdle that they allowed the Hawks to have, I still believe the Knicks can win this series. If they go down 3-1, it's over. Jalen Brunson is not LeBron James. Jalen Brunson is not Nikola Jokic. Jalen Brunson is not Michael Jordan. It's just not happening. It's not happening. And I said at the beginning of the season, I said it before the season even started. I said, this season will tell you whether or not you can win with Jalen Brunson as your number one guy. And so far from what I've seen, it's not looking like it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and move on to the Nuggets and Wolves game, which was honestly it was an incredible game. And remember, guys, we watched the Hawks and Knicks together in the Discord. We hosted a watch party. We had like 45 people in the Discord server, and it was so much fun. So guys, be sure if you are in the Twitch stream to join the Discord. You guys missed a show, man. If you're not in the Discord, you are straight up selling, because we were all hanging out in there reacting to the Knicks Hawks game live. You guys should have been in there. So be sure to join the Discord and TikTok. If you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. That's JZ Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. Two Anna Kicks, you're asking me, do you think that has anything to do with coaching? They're not listening to Mike Brown. They're not listening to him. These players were here before Mike Brown. They're going to be here after Mike Brown. So they're not listening to him. They're not listening to him. They're focusing on what they do, and Jalen Brunson is not giving the ball to anybody else that needs the ball. Let's go ahead and move on to the Wolves-Nuggets game. As you guys know, the Wolves are the 6th seed. And, well, they won Game 3 at home. Final score 113-96. And all I got to say is, Jaden McDaniels, you dirty, dirty dog, man. Jaden McDaniels, you dirty, dirty dog. All I have to say, this series is not over yet. I looked back at the playoffs last year. The Nuggets were down 2-1 against the Clippers, and they came back and beat them. But I have to reiterate, the Wolves are not the Clippers. The Wolves are not the Clippers. Okay, can we take a timeout real quick? What Knicks fan is spam reporting me in the TikTok? Because I just got warned that my live isn't going to be shown to anybody there anymore. TikTok, I got to end that stream, unfortunately. You guys are spam reporting me because y'all are angry Knicks fans. It's funny because I didn't say anything mean. I didn't insult anybody personally. Whoever's spam reported me in the TikTok sucks. You just ruined it for all 100 people watching over there right now, because I'm ending the TikTok now. If you guys want to watch the rest of the show, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. That's JZ Uncut on Twitch. Bye, TikTok. Hopefully we'll see you guys come through to the Twitch, because the show is still continuing. We're barely halfway through. All right. Link in my bio, JZ Uncut on Twitch. Okay, so let's continue the show, right? Let us continue the show. Also, Davey, get the fuck out of here, you bum. Get your stupid ass back in the TikTok, trash can. Coming in here insulting everybody in the Twitch stream. Mods, just ban a guy that's starting fights with everybody in the chat. Fuck that guy. I shouldn't have to be the one that has to do that. Davey, sit your ass down and enjoy the TikTok, you bum. All right, guys, let's talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves. Oh, by the way, suck on my fucking bra, Joel. I'm not live on TikTok right now, so I can say that. Sorry, Spotify and Apple, if you guys are listening with your kids, my apologies. All right, before we talk about the Wolves Nuggets, yes, we're talking about the Raps Cavs after this. Before we talk about this, let me give a couple thank yous and shout outs to people who just left the TikTok and came through to the Twitch. Demetrius, Mickey, and Breezy, thank you so much for the follows on Twitch. Welcome, guys. Happy to have y'all in here. Be sure to type in ! Discord and join the Discord server. That's where we host watch parties and hang out with our entire community. Last night, 45 of us were watching the Hawks Knicks game together in the Discord. So be sure to join the Discord and join the community. We'd love to have you over there. Let's go ahead and talk about this game, y'all. Let's go ahead and talk about this game real quick, all right? Because we got some things that we got to talk about. I hope y'all know we got some things we got to talk about. What I watched in the first half last night, right? No way. We have a Jazz fan? Wait. Do we have a Jazz fan that just joined? Wait, Breezy, are you a Utah Jazz fan, Brody? If you are, and you don't join the Discord, I might end my life in GTA, bro. You might be our first, if you are a Jazz fan, you will be our first Jazz fan. He's a Raptors team fan, but he's a Keontae fan. Rats. All right, we need another Raps fan. That's fine. I was about to say, there's no way there's a Jazz fan looking up streams right now in April. There's just no way. There's no way. Okay, we'll take a Raptors fan. We need more. All right. I just have to show you guys one play from last night, okay? One play from last night, and this symbolizes how the entire game went. I want you to just watch Rudy Gobert here, all right? Just watch Big Rudy. Just watch Rudy. Stops Cam Johnson from driving. Switches back onto Jokic, holds Jokic, stands in front of him. He's not moving. Jokic doesn't know what to do. He goes up on Gobert. Gobert swats his shit. And this is how the entire game went. That is how the entire game went. And what a thing, what a sight, what a beauty of a defensive scene by Rudy Gobert. He did this all night. We got another Raps fan, Demetrius. Join the Discord, homie. Join it up. B. Heller said he's a Bulls fan. Join the Discord. Nate, join the Discord. ! Discord in the chat. Gobert doing what Gobert does and absolutely clamping Nikola Jokic. And that's not the only play I got to show. I watched the first 3 quarters of this game instead of going to sleep, right? And what I watched last night was a defensive masterclass. Let's watch Jaden McDaniels real quick. After he talked shit about the entire Nuggets team, he's clamping Jamal Murray. He's not going anywhere. He's going around screens. He's hopping on Jokic. He's stopping that bucket from going. They're passing. They don't know what to do. Julius Randle's on Jokic. This looks like Detroit defense when they're at their best. Because what I just saw right there is they need to take this clip and show it to every single kid playing basketball right now. They need to show this clip and how you rotate and how you switch and how you just force the ball out of every player's hands. What an incredible defensive scheme. Now, unfortunately, I do have to say, Spam Loot, we're not talking about the Rockets until we're the end of this game. We're not talking about like how the series is panning out. We're just talking about the next game because obviously you guys don't have a game to cover right now. So yeah, I probably won't talk about that game until Monday. So let's stay on topic here. All I have to say is last night, the Nuggets were missing Aaron Gordon, and that's fine. They were missing Aaron Gordon. But I said this in the beginning of the year. Aaron Gordon cannot mean that much. They cannot mean that much to this team. Oh, I know you guys are probably wondering, what about the podcasts on the weekends? This weekend, I don't feel it necessary to break my no stream on weekend streak to talk about Sixers, Celtics, Lakers, Rockets, and Spurs, Trailblazers. I apologize, but this week we are staying Monday through Friday. This week was really exhausting for me and tiring on both ends. So yeah, there won't be any shows this weekend. You guys know we do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Just so we're all clear, I feel like I have to say that. But yeah, we're sticking with this. We're sticking with this. I think for the second round, it's going to be absolutely imperative that we do shows on the weekend. But for right now, I mean, am I supposed to get up from the Lakers Rockets? Rockets are also, we'll talk about that later. Stop getting me off topic. We have a podcast to do. All right. We have a podcast to do. It ain't my fault the Pistons play at 1 o'clock on a Saturday, bro. It ain't my fault. The Nuggets were horrible. The Nuggets were horrible. The Nuggets were absolutely horrible. They were bad. They were bad. Let's start with Nikola Jokic getting clamped up by Rudy Gobert. I mean, oh my God. Jokic at 27-15, right? But he shot 7 for 26. Now, Rudy Gobert wasn't contesting every single one of these shots either. I'd like to make a note of that. He wasn't contesting every shot that Jokic put up, but you know what he was doing? He was in his head. He was in his head. And can I get some apologies in the chat about all my Rudy Gobert doubters? Can I get some apologies? Let's say the Timberwolves had Victor Wembanyama last night instead of Rudy Gobert. That's not happening. That is not happening. Yes, Victor Wembanyama was the DPOY. First ever unanimous DPOY. But Rudy Gobert, what he does to Nikola Jokic, what he does to most centers in this NBA is something that I despise, that people say Rudy Gobert is worthless. Because what Rudy Gobert does on this team, and I said it all season long, and TikTok yells at me all season long, saying Rudy sucks, Rudy sucks. You are preaching to me that you don't know basketball. You are preaching to me. Denver looked gassed because they were getting pressed by Jaden McDaniels and Rudy Gobert all night long. Let's talk about Jaden McDaniels. Jaden McDaniels, he went for 20 and 10 on 9 for 13 shooting. He talked shit to the Minnesota Timberwolves. He talked shit to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And yet, they come out and lay an egg? He said all of them are bad at defense. And then Jaden McDaniels stands on that shit and drops 20 and 10 on them and limits Jamal Murray to a horrible 5 for 17 game. This just goes to show the heart of the Timberwolves. And you know what else it shows? I guarantee you, if the Timberwolves were against any other team other than even the Rockets, even the Lakers, they would not be putting on this sort of show, but they despise the Denver Nuggets. They hate the Denver Nuggets. And I was saying that to myself. And then Jaden McDaniels, after the game, what does he say? We try a little bit extra against the Denver Nuggets. Why do you guys think that is? Why do you guys think that is? They hate that team. They despise that team. And what I'm watching right now is an absolute massacre. Jaden McDaniels, right? Jaden McDaniels and Rudy Gobert absolutely clamping the absolute dog piss out of everybody on the Nuggets. And if you guys want a little laugh, Davey is now in the TikTok stream spamming. There's only 68 people watching you on Twitch. Only 68 people watching you on Twitch. Give up. Only 68 people watching you on Twitch. Brother, I have 70 people watching on my Twitch stream, and I have 120 people watching on TikTok. I think I'm doing pretty well for myself right now, my boy. I appreciate your concern, Davey. Stick in the TikTok stream. Just stick in the TikTok stream. You'll enjoy it much more over there, homie. You'll enjoy it much more. You are a bona fide TikTok viewer. Enjoy it, bro. Enjoy it. That's why I tell everybody, leave the TikTok and come through to the Twitch stream, baby, because you got nothing but brain dead over there in the TikTok. I'm not going to say much more because then I'm going to get banned. So he's mad that Jalen Brunson is a horrible defender. He's mad that the Knicks lost. Just let Davey be Davey, bro. He's out. He's stuck. He's sent to the shadow realm. So yeah, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream and get away from all those morons over there in the TikTok. We got to talk about the guy that I said was going to be the X factor of this Timberwolves team. All right, we got to talk about it. I said, Ayo Dosunmu, he's going to be absolutely incredible for this Timberwolves team. And well, chat, I guess I was right. I guess I was right yet again. Ayo Dosunmu, I said, was like the key component as to what this team was missing. And Ayo Dosunmu could have joined any team in the NBA off that trade. And when he got traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves, I said, oh, hold on now. That's a big move because they need a ball handling defensive guard. They need one. And Ayo came in and just absolutely shredded the Denver Nuggets defense. Straight up. 25 points in 32 minutes, 3 rebounds, 9 assists. 9 assists. Hey guys, I just have to let y'all know. Right? I have to let y'all know. The Minnesota Timberwolves, right? And what they're doing. This is something that is truly special because this team just a week ago looked dead in the water. Dead in the water. They didn't look like they wanted to be there. They didn't look like they wanted to compete. And now what you're watching now is truly a remarkable feat. Not only do you win game 2 in Denver, but you also win game 3. And I've been preaching his name all season long. And you know what? I got to preach his name yet again. Donte DiVincenzo, my favorite player on this basketball team. Undisputed. Donte DiVincenzo can, and I said this yesterday, and I really started to actually ponder about it, right? I said Donte DiVincenzo could truly start on any team in the NBA. And then the only ones that I was like sort of thinking about it was the Thunder. Would he start over Lou Dort? He could. He's a great defender. And he'd probably have a way better whistle in Oklahoma than he does in Minnesota. And then people started to remind me, what about the Spurs? And I was like, okay, you know what? You got me. He's probably not starting on the Spurs. But you get my point here. The fact that that is a topic to discuss. The fact that that is something that we would talk about, right? The fact that this is something that we have to discuss and actually ponder about is truly remarkable. Because the way he's playing, he could play anywhere as a number 2 on any team, like being the shooting guard on any team. Yeah, he's probably not starting over Luka or Austin Reeves, but you still get my point. You're saying easily 25 teams in the NBA, Donte DiVincenzo is starting, right? Minimum. He's starting on 25 teams. So I think that's the point that I'm trying to get at, right? 25 out of the 30 teams. Donte DiVincenzo is that guy. And it's like really undisputed. Like you can start pondering the nuances and stuff. He started on the number 1 seed in the East for sure. And when you're looking at this team and what the energy they're putting out, Naz Reid had another horrible game. He had another bad game. Bones Highland had a couple big shots and that was it. But what I saw from the starting lineup, even with Anthony Edwards hurt, even with Ant hurt and struggling 6 for 15, the defense made up for it and some. It's that good. Last night, bro, I was watching this game. Julius Randle was 6 for 15. I'm watching them and I'm wondering, bro, look at this defensive scheme. They are playing so incredibly well and they absolutely shut down Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. And that's why they won this game. That's why. It's truly a remarkable feat that what the Timberwolves have done and how they've come back. It's a thing of beauty, guys. I love that. I love defense. And in my opinion, I enjoy watching defense way more than just high octane offense. And I was talking about this with my watch party yesterday in the Discord, DZ. Thank you so much for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream, DZ. I really appreciate you. Be sure to join the Discord so you can hang out with my community and join the watch parties. DZ, I literally said yesterday in the watch party, imagine Donte on this Knicks team right now, man. Imagine it. I cannot believe that they included him in that trade just to acquire Mikal Bridges. I can't believe it. Now, I would like to emphasize, this series is far from over. The Denver Nuggets could. I still see them recovering in the next game. But game 4 will dictate it. If Jokic continues to play that horrible, missing 19 shots, if he continues to play that bad and he allows Rudy Gobert to clamp him that well, nothing's going to happen. Jokic needs to conquer his fear. Yeah, they looked gassed. They absolutely looked gassed. I mean, when you're getting pressed by Jaden McDaniels and then you're driving to the rim and you got Rudy Gobert down there, what do you expect? What a great defensive game. And I'm so sick of the disrespect that Rudy Gobert gets because I keep saying his name. Rudy Gobert. I've been preaching his name all season long. Without him, this Timberwolves team is nothing. They are nothing without Rudy Gobert. He'll drop the ball a few times. He'll turn the ball over a couple times. Hell, he'll take a stupid ass floater like he did last night at the free throw line, which I was cracking up about. If you guys watched that, he got the ball when they were up 20 and he put up this floater from the free throw line and absolutely airballed it. Didn't even touch the net. He'll do that. He'll do that. He'll do a bing, bing, Kareem hook leaning fadeaway from the paint and hit it against Jokic. You gotta love Rudy Gobert and what he does on the defensive end, because what he does is unlike any other. Bro, Rudy Gobert we're gonna be thinking about him 30 years from now and think about how good he was defensively, man, because he is. If he can win, and TikTok is saying one time, bro, calm down. You haven't watched Timberwolves basketball, Jacob. You haven't watched Timberwolves basketball, and you just proved it right there. You just proved it right there, because Rudy Gobert is number 2 in the entire NBA at plus minus. He is that good of a defensive player. And of course, the Nuggets were missing Aaron Gordon, and that sucks. That sucks. Aaron Gordon's usually help down low. He's usually the help down low. And right now, the Timberwolves scored 68 points in the paint. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the most points scored in the paint all playoffs so far. That is the most points scored in the paint all playoffs so far. 68 points in the paint. Just to hammer in that truth that the Nuggets defense is abysmal. And I've been preaching it week after week, month after month. And everybody tells me, no, the Nuggets will be fine. The Nuggets are the 9th worst defense in the entire NBA. 9th worst defense in the entire NBA. How many times do I have to say this all year long? The Timberwolves didn't even have a good game offensively. They were chucking. They were 9 for 34 from 3. They were chucking. They shot 26% from 3. And now Jacob in the TikTok is saying I'm a Timberwolf glazer. No, I glaze good basketball. And what I watched last night were 3 good basketball games. And the Timberwolves played incredible. The defense was beautiful, and the offense was subpar. That's not as good as they normally do. But they managed to get the win, y'all. They managed to get the win. TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. Get away from all the idiots over there. Guys, in case you don't know, Davey has made 7 accounts, and he just keeps coming into the Twitch stream, just so you guys are clear. He keeps coming into the TikTok. So guys, if you are enjoying the show, I promise y'all, you would enjoy the Twitch stream so much more. Get away from all the morons in the TikTok and come through to the Twitch. You will enjoy it so much more over here. Once you join the Twitch stream, be sure to join the Discord as well, because last night we did a watch party of the Knicks-Hawks game, and it was so much fun. We're waiting for y'all over here in the Twitch stream. Let's talk about the series that is now 2-1 in the other way. The Cavs are leading 2-1, but the Raptors defend their home court. They defend Jurassic Park and win against the Cavaliers. Now, if you watch this game, oh, chat, how can I say this? 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 This won't happen again. And I enjoyed this game a lot, but this won't happen again. If you watch this game, you'll know what I'm talking about. Their defense was incredible in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. And I said, when the Raptors defense is that good, it's amazing. It's amazing. But this game won't happen again. I watched the last 18 minutes of this game live, but I went back and watched the previous 30 minutes that I missed because I was watching the Knicks-Hawks. Listen, y'all, this won't happen again. But in the fourth quarter, they outscored the Cleveland Cavaliers 43-23. And I mean, and I'm being told by the TikTok, I don't know ball. Drew, in fact, how about you show me how to take mirror selfies? Because that's the only thing that you're capable of doing, Drew. Listen, Jamison Battle is not going to go 5 for 5 from the field in another fourth quarter. That's not going to happen again. Jamison Battle is not going to go 5 for 5 in a random fourth quarter again. That's not going to happen. Okay. RJ Barrett, he's been consistently one of the best players on the Raptors all season long, right? So I'm not really surprised, but 33 points is surprising. Scotty Barnes, he finally decided to be a leader of this team, and that's what he did. And when you have 33 points from RJ Barrett, 33 points from Scotty Barnes, and then Brandon Ingram still had another stinker, 12 points. And then you get contribution from Jamison Battle, 5 for 5 in the fourth quarter. That's not going to happen again. Do I think the Raptors can win another game? Yes. But that offensive scene, RJ Barrett going 6 for 8 from 3, 12 for 19 from the field, and Jamison Battle, I got to say his name again, Jamison Battle, this might be the first time some of you guys, most of you guys in the TikTok have ever heard this guy's name. He's not going to go 5 for 5 in the fourth quarter again. Colin Murray-Boyles, CMB, incredible game, 28 minutes, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 11 for 15 from the field. Jakob Poeltl's absolutely worthless in this series, but at least they got CMB, man. At least they got CMB. Again, it's truly remarkable to see a team bounce back like that at home. And I'll say this, I wish the Pistons game 2 was on Prime and not ESPN, because in case you guys don't know, ESPN cranks the volume of the crowd down, which is so stupid. The Raptors on Prime last night has got to be the best crowd I've heard all playoffs so far. The Raptors crowd was absolutely incredible. The pop-offs, the screaming, the commentators couldn't even shout over the crowd with how loud they were. What I would do to be in an arena like that would be awesome. Now, as far as the Cavs, they had a stinker all around. Evan Mobley was 4 for 13. And here's why I believe the Cavaliers dropped this game. James Harden wasn't facilitating. He had 4 assists. Donovan Mitchell only had 3 assists. Donovan Mitchell was 7 for 16 with only 15 points. James Harden was 5 for 13, only 4 assists. He's got to move that. He's got to move that rock. He's got to move that ball, because if he doesn't, then this team stands no chance. He's got to get Evan Mobley involved. He was missing all of his shots. He was settling for jump shots. Jared Allen, he's got to get him more involved. That's when they play all well. James Harden had 8 turnovers. It was not a good game. It was not a good game from the Cavs. They really handed this one to the Toronto Raptors. And Toronto ran with it in the fourth quarter. It was a thing of beauty. It was a thing of beauty. Watching the Raptors play that well, bro, it was straight up. I've never seen the Raptors get magnet ball like that. But in that fourth quarter, bro, that was magnet ball. That was unbelievable. What I was watching RJ Barrett coop every single shot. Jamison Battle coop every single shot. CMB was bullying everybody. That fourth quarter was incredible. If you guys haven't watched that fourth quarter, go watch it. I think the most important part of this Raptors win, though, aside from the RJ Barrett and Jamison Battle magnet ball, was Scotty Barnes taking control of this game. I've been saying it all year long. Scotty Barnes, this is your team. You got to prove to it that they are your team. And he was taking the second fiddle, the Robin to Brandon Ingram's Batman all season long. And I told all of you in here that Brandon Ingram is a playoff dropper and he will not perform in the playoffs. And he hasn't. He hasn't. The fact that this is probably his best game of the playoffs so far, 12 points, 5 for 9 from the field with 2 turnovers, speaks volumes. Scotty Barnes needs to demand that rock and lead this team together. CMB leads the bench unit and Scotty Barnes leads the starters. And this is beautiful basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I do not believe the Raptors will get that magnet ball in the fourth quarter again. RJ Barrett couldn't miss. Jamison Battle couldn't miss. But I do believe the Raptors defense can stifle the Cavaliers for multiple quarters at a time. I believe that. I truly believe that. They won this game by 22. I think they can lock in defensively again and maybe ink out a 110 to 105 win. Maybe not 130 to 104, but I think they can ink out a 110-105. Their defense is good enough. They can do it. What we got to see Brandon Ingram do is try to get that ball at the high post like what LeBron has been doing this playoffs against the Houston Rockets. And pass out of the double team, man. Just facilitate. You don't need to be a point guard, but just facilitate. Once they get quickly back, if they get quickly back, I promise you, this is an interesting series. I hope Quickly's back for the next game because this series just got interesting, but they're going to need to win game 4. And if they can get Emmanuel Quickly back, I really think the biggest faults that the Toronto Raptors have will get cured. All it matters is if they can get Quickly back because Ingram's not going to play make. Man, Scotty Barnes, 33 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds. If he can do that every game, bro, the Raptors have a shot. They have a shot. All right, guys, let's preview the games for tonight. As you guys know, we are not doing a show tomorrow. We do our shows Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. We're looking at the Boston Celtics visiting the Philadelphia 76ers for game 3, and the Boston Celtics are favored by 7.5 points. I agree. I agree. Listen, y'all. The Boston Celtics are not going to shoot 33% again. They're not going to shoot 33% again. If they do, then the 76ers have a chance. But I feel like the Celtics are going to come out angry this game. I feel like they're going to come out and play really well. I'm hoping the Sixers can make it an interesting one because they are on their home crowd. We'll see. But I think that's an astute prediction line. The fact that they're favored by 7.5, I think it is going to be a relatively interesting game. But the Celtics are going to have to come out and just hit their shots because that's all it comes down to. That's all it comes down to for this team. I think the X factor tonight is Derek White. Derek White's got to step up, bro. Derek White's got to play better. He's got to play better. He's got to play better. No, Embiid just started stretching with the team, so he is not playing tonight. I think it should be an interesting game, but I do have the Celtics winning. Next up, we have the Rockets-Lakers, and this line really interests me. The fact that the Rockets are favored by 9.5 points is very interesting. What have the Rockets done to deserve that sort of line by 9.5 points against the Los Angeles Lakers? The fact that they're home, so they're favored by 9.5. I don't know about that. No, Luka Doncic is not back. Austin Reeves is not back. I don't know what Vegas knows, but I don't know why they're favored by 9.5. Is it just because they're home? If it is, then we should have a good one tonight. Honestly, what can I say about the Houston Rockets? Play Reed Shepherd. Play him, Ime. Play Reed Shepherd. Play him. Because if I have to watch Kevin Durant embarrass himself and bring the ball up the court again, I'm turning the game off. If Reed Shepherd is not in the game, ball handling, and Kevin Durant is bringing the ball up the court, I'm turning the game off. I'm not watching. Because if I have to watch Kevin Durant get double teamed every single time at the half court line, I'm not watching that. Ime Udoka, play Reed Shepherd. Okay? That's all you have. That's the only playmaker you have. Şengün's got to get his titties on lock. He's got to lock in. He's got to play better. Otherwise, this team stands no chance. Final game would be the Spurs Trailblazers. Spurs are favored by 2.5, and I believe Wembanyama is questionable. I don't know if he's playing or not. My ultimate guess is that they are going to sit Victor Wembanyama. That's my ultimate guess. I do not believe they are going to play Victor Wembanyama. In case you guys don't know, he has a concussion. I don't think they're going to play Victor Wembanyama. I think they're waiting until the last minute to say that they're not playing him so that the Blazers have less time to game plan. What I'll say is I think the Spurs play without Wemby, and I don't know. I don't think the Spurs can win without Wemby in the playoffs. But I still have the Spurs winning tonight. I think Wemby will sit, and I think the Spurs will still win. They are favored by 2.5 points. Obviously, for both teams, the X factor has to be De'Aaron Fox. For the Spurs. He has to show up. Come on, guys. The former clutch player of the year from 19 years ago. He's got to step up. De'Aaron Fox has to step up. And then for the Trailblazers, I mean, bro, can we just say, Jeremy Grant, do something, bro. Jeremy Grant, do something. Jeremy Grant, if he can have a good game, I think, yeah, the Blazers can steal this. He's played horrible, bro. What is Jeremy Grant in this series so far? Jeremy Grant, last 2 games. Bro, he is shooting 21% from the field and 20% from 3. Jeremy Grant, the veteran of this team, is shooting 21% from the field and 20% from 3. These are Karis LeVert and Dennis Jenkins numbers. You can't have this. I think I'm going to pick Jeremy Grant as my X factor. I know Drew's going to hoop. Hopefully Scoot can hoop. And hopefully Denny has a bounce back game as well. If you can get the type of Scoot Henderson game and Drew Holiday game that you got 2 nights ago, and then Denny also plays well, or Jeremy Grant also plays well, if you guys get 3 guys to lead this team into double-digit points, couple 20-pointers, and like a teens, I think they can beat the Spurs without Wemby. It just matters on whether or not they don't settle for threes. If they settle for threes, they're going to lose this game. They're one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the NBA. So if they can just manage to not settle for threes, I think they can manage to get this. Now, guys, my stud of the night last night was very interesting, okay? I was battling between a lot of players. I was battling between CJ McCollum. I was battling between Karl Anthony Towns. I was battling with Jaden McDaniels. Scotty Barnes. RJ Barrett. There were a lot of decisions, guys. And I hope I don't make anybody mad when I say this. This player who I'm giving stud of the night has the lowest stats that I've ever given to any stud of the night all season, because the stat sheet just doesn't show his impact. From screen assists to shots affected at the rim, shots altered around the rim, to absolutely locking down a 3-time MVP. Guy that I've been gassing up all season long. I'm giving it to Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert in 36 minutes played 10. He played 36 minutes, scored 10 points, 12 rebounds, 3 of them offensive, 3 assists. He was a plus 18 on the court. He was 3 for 7 from the field, 4 for 5 from the free throw line. And if you really are interested in why I picked him, go look at the Advanced Metrics NBA website. Go look at how many screen assists he had. Go look at how many shots he altered around the rim. And for God's sake, y'all, go ahead and look at Jokic's face throughout that game. Go look at Jokic's face all game. You don't even need to look at his face if you don't want to. You can just go look at his stat line. 7 for 26 because of Rudy Gobert. Shout out Rudy, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's all I got for y'all this week. TikTok, if you guys did enjoy today's show, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. We are still live on Twitch, so be sure to swing right on in. We'd love to have y'all over here. The link is in my bio, Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. COD R, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch, bro. I appreciate you very much. Shout out to everybody who watched these shows live this week. It was incredible. And again, if you guys want to join in on our watch parties that we do on in our community, join the Twitch stream, join the Discord, because last night that watch party was absolutely incredible. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me. And since Drew wants to sit in my TikTok stream and try to troll me, Drew, before I get banned on TikTok, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now so I don't get banned. All right? Go ahead and reflect on your life, sir, because you got some whack-ass tattoos. You're wearing a wife beater. You're leaking out of the wife beater. And look at you, bro. Look at you before you come talking to me. Look at that forehead of yours, bro. I would personally off myself if I looked like that. All right, TikTok, we're live on Twitch, y'all, if you want to come through. Go ahead and end that TikTok before we get banned. Hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's all I got for y'all today. That's all I got for y'all for the entire week. We will be mixing in weekend streams throughout the second round, conference finals. Y'all know it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. Banger week. Honestly, incredible week. On the YouTube, on the Twitch, on the TikTok, incredible week. Be sure to join the Discord, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I love y'all so very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, go Pistons. Thank you for watching / listening, and I'll catch you guys Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Love y'all.